Welcome back, True Seeker. This video is dedicated to the students at Iowa State University. In the news this morning, nationally, is the death of a young woman, a 22-year-old Celia Barquin Rozamena. And she was a golfer at Iowa State. She was found dead on the course yesterday. She was 22 years old. Her death is being blamed on a 22-year-old. And consider on April 22nd of this year, she won the 22nd Big 12 Women's Golf Tournament. And what I'm going to show is her accused killer. He might have done it, but if he did it, he's under mind control. We've talked about this many times before, people being murdered and patsies being used. If you're new here, you need to look up the government mind control program, MK Ultra, which they say they canceled decades ago. It's an obvious lie. They never did. You look at all these school shootings. You look at these, zombie-like faces. These are the MK Ultra patsies that they still use to this day. And it's very possible that the young man that murdered this girl, again, the accused, is one of these people. So, if you're new here, especially if you're an Iowa State student, pay attention. I was in college when September 11th happened. It was because of September 11th that I figured out this code of letters and numbers. This is what your government, your media, your educational institutions, this is what they all operate by every single day. And they kill people by this code, which is very repetitive. I have a book, Letters and Numbers. It's 773 pages long. It's as long as a textbook. But the beautiful thing is it's only $5 because I'm not trying to rip you off like your university is, charging you $500 for your textbooks just to put you in debt so that you can be a debt slave and participate in this bankrupt society that's run by these psychopaths that do everything by the numbers, including murder people. If you're a young person, you need to know that. You need to know the truth about your nation. I want you to look up the headline from October 6th, 1940 in the New York Times. The headline that day, New World Order pledged to Jews. And understand this code of letters and numbers is very Jewish. Look at who owns the publishing companies in this nation, the same people who control your media, your banks. It's a Zionist conspiracy. And these people are murderers. In their Talmud, it says that it's okay for them to murder Goyim. It's okay to rape Goyim. It's okay to steal from Goyim. It's okay to lie to Goyim. This is why they do this stuff every single day. And they get away with it because they control the land. So anyhow, as I've talked about, anytime a date comes up that has 44 and 64 numerology, there is a death in the news. It's often a celebrity. Sometimes it's a story like this, a young promising college student, female golfer, PGA Tour bound. Anyhow, the day she was found dead, a date with 44 and 64 numerology, in Gematria, in 3 of the 4 base ciphers, kill equals 44. That's the alphabetic order. K's the 11th letter, I's the 9th, L's the 12th, L's the 12th, kill 44. If you take the word kill with the alphabetic order and use the rules of numerology, so instead of K being 11, you take 1 plus 1 is 2. You break down 11 to 2. I's still the 9th letter, so I's 9. Instead of L being 12, it becomes 1 plus 2 is 3. So you have 2 plus 9 plus 3 plus 3. The numerology of the numerical values from the alphabetic order. Kills 17. She's dead on the 17th, a date with 44 numerology. Also a date with 64 numerology. The way this cipher works is you just flip the alphabetic order around. So K is the 11th letter. What you do is you just take 27 minus the alphabetic order placement. So 27 minus 11, K's 16, I's 9, so 27 minus 9, I's 18, L's 12, so 27 minus 12, L's 15. You add up those letters. 16 plus 18 plus 15 plus 15, 64. Kill. 44, 64. These 44, 64 dates, you can go all throughout history. There's always a death in the media in connection to these dates. It never passes without it being true. And then again, this time it even fell on the 17th. We're going to talk about how that also factors into her being a Spaniard from Spain. I noticed, even though her name is Celia Barquin Arozamena, if you come down here and read the way the media wrote about her, They leave off the Celia part after they introduce her full name, and through the rest of the article, they call her Barquin Arozamena. The thing about the name Barquin is it has the Gematria 44 as well. And the killer, his surname is Richards, 44, par for the course. So what I always do in these stories is I always measure from the victim's birthday, because you'll always see what they did, and it's very repetitive. Again, in my chapter, in this book, Letters and Numbers, this 773-page book, the chapter Murder by Numbers is a book in itself, and, right at the beginning, I start talking about 44, 64, 17, how these numbers always come up. Then I also talk about how often people die in connections to the numbers 73, 74, 187. And I want you to see this. This woman's birthday, who died, is July 6th, which is the 187th day of the year. And from her 22nd birthday to her date of death, September 17th, was 73 days later. Again, sacrifice equals 73, ritual sacrifice. It's Masonry that abides by this code. This nation, controlled by Zionist bankers, Freemasons, Masonic alliances, secret societies from the beginning to the present. That word Mason also has the Gematria of 73. Understand there's 4 base ciphers: the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. And in the 2 numerology-based ciphers, Mason and Kill, a perfect match. The name of the killer is Colin Richards, also 73. How perfect for her to die 73 days after her birthday. This pattern we see all the time. And then the killer to have 73 named Gematria. With regards to her dying 73 days after her birthday, it's also a span of 74 days, meaning she died on her 74th day of being 22 years old. 74, the other number. Killing 74 with the alphabetic order, Masonic 74, Gematria 74, English 74. If you go to Iowa State, I want you to look up 2 songs. Gematria, the Killing Name. It's a song by the band Slipknot. I don't really care for it, but just look at the title of it. Gematria, the Killing Name. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. Masonic practice, Jewish practice. Jewish also equals 74 in this cipher. For the record, holiday 74, Independence Day 74. It's not arbitrary that this nation's birthday is 7-4. It's a trademark to who founded this nation. Gang of psychopath killers. That's why this nation's always at war. That's why they always got more lies for more war. The other song I want you to look up is Murder by Numbers. And down below in the description of every video, I link this calculator. When you type in a word here, it gives you the 4 base ciphers. The song Murder by Numbers came out in the year 83. 83 and not arbitrarily. We're going to come back to 79 too, because 79 is the 22nd prime. She was 22 years old. The killer's 22 years old. She won the golf tournament on April 22nd. And it was the 22nd Big 12 tournament as well. So, heavy 22 ritual. They put out the killer's name as 3 parts. Colin Daniel Richards. We'll look at the full name too. We talked about how Colin Richards is 73. Her full name, Celia Barquin Arozamena, Gematria of 206, like the number of bones in the body. In the Jewish cipher, which is not one of the 4 base ciphers, but is the most important cipher outside of the 4 base ciphers. In case you want to come here and use this calculator, you click the ciphers button up here, and you go to Jewish. And you just click the button, and then it'll give you values in Jewish Gematria as well. But sacrifice is 206 in Jewish Gematria. Her full name happened to sum to 206. And what it seems to me is these Masonic psychopaths, it seems that they have a giant database of names and birthdays, and they know the days they have to kill people on, and it's like they scan their database and they say, who would be most perfect to 86 on this date? And unfortunately for this young woman, her number came up. You heard that phrase, your number's up? This is the way it seems to be. And when you understand that all of the state universities, when you understand that our entire government abides by this code, you realize that all of us, all of our names and birthdays, they're in a database. So, you got a computer that crunches the numbers for you, which we definitely have at this day and age. It's not too hard to line up these rituals as they do month after month, week after week, day after day, and of course year after year. I'll also remind about there being 206 bones in the body. The ancient spiritual belief is the body is the temple. Masonry involved in, more like invested in old world knowledge, Hermeticism, Kundalini, Kabbalah. It's where this code of letters and numbers comes from, Kabbalah. Kabbalah has the core belief that God created the world by merging the letter with the number. Anyway, Masonic Temple 206. 206 bones in the body's the temple. If you read my book, the first chapter is why are there 26 letters in the English alphabet? Has a lot to do with the body and the temple. In Gematria, the word bones equals 101. 101 is the 26th prime. Skeleton equals 101. Bones equals 26. 101, the 26th prime. You'll be amazed what you learn about the 26 letters of the English alphabet, all the riddles within. So anyway, this young woman dying on the 17th, 59 is the 17th prime. She was from Spain, 59. Kill in Jewish Gematria is 59. Dead on the 17th, the Spaniard. With regards to her being the champion on April 22nd, again in the 22nd tournament, being 22 years old and having a 22-year-old killer, I just want you to see the champion in murder with the alphabetic order of both 79. She died 148 days after she won the tournament. For the record, Fraternal's 148. And it's the fraternal order that operates by this code. But I just want you to see that murder and champion also overlap here in the Gematria. The killer's name, Colin Daniel Richards. 190 is a number that corresponds with Synagogue of Satan. 125 corresponds with numerology. So does 145. So does 44, and she died on a date with 44 numerology in a very numerological death. 73 sacrifice, Gematria. 233 is the 13th Fibonacci number, and Gematria in the Jewish cipher, which again is the most important outside the base ciphers, is 233. 89 is a Fibonacci number, it's the 11th. 97, a number of death. 34, a number of murder. Death, murder. '27 is our big ritual number. That's why there's the 27 club. 45 also connects to ritual. 27, 45. And then, of course, the 44. 55 is also a numerology number. And something special about 55, let me just get rid of the Jewish cipher. Something special about 55. 55 is the 10th Fibonacci number. And I just want you to see that Fibonacci sums to 55. The Fibonacci sequence goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. What you do is you add the last two numbers. It creates the next number. So the last two numbers I said were 13, 21. The next number is 34. 13 plus 21 is 34. So now we have 21 and 34. 21 plus 34 is 55. Now we have 55, 34. 34 plus 55 is 89. 55 plus 89 is 144. What's interesting about 144 being the 12th Fibonacci number is the square root of 144 is 12. And what's interesting about the 10th Fibonacci number being 55 is that if you add 1 through 10 together, it also equals 55. And 55 in its numerology breakdown is 5 plus 5 is 10. And the Fibonacci numbers are considered to be numbers of God. Notice the Gematria of God, 55, 10. And understand that this code is dualistic. Notice that Satan is 10 and 55. Numerology is associated with Satan. This young woman was born in 96, Freemason 96, Satanism's 96. I want to come back to Satan, though, for a second. Marilyn Manson, he put out a new album in the last year, and the album is called Say 10. Not Satan, but Say 10. And the self-titled song off that album, the chorus is, when you say God, I say 10. Do you think Marilyn Manson knows something about this code? He's not the only one. A lot of the world of entertainment is into Kabbalah, or the world of professional entertainers, and it's because they get indoctrinated through these Zionists who control the entertainment industry. And again, this code comes from Kabbalah, you see? So I'm just trying to show you how many things are coded into this killer's name. And it makes me wonder if he even really exists, you know? Was he a born and bred patsy? Because we know that this Masonic network is birthing people for planned rituals, from political office to the sports field, to singers and actors. Who else are they birthing with plans? You know, are they birthing planned killers? Because every time one of these stories breaks, the killer always has the same numbers coded in their name, you know? So, I don't know how else you explain it. This was the date of the Women's Golf Championship, the 22nd Annual Big 12 Golf Championship, April 20th through 22nd. This woman, her name has so many interesting things coded into it. Notice the 127. And understand, Freemasons do name their children accordingly. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is also 127. And again, she was born in 96. You know what else? I don't know how I didn't see this before. You know how I just told you she died 148 days after the tournament? I'll just show you this. She did die 148 days after. She also died on the 149th day since, so a span. So the tournament ended April 22nd. She died September 17th, 2018. That was the 149th day. And look at her name. Arozamena, 149. You know? That name that she went by, Barquin, as well, 107. That's another number that we see often in these deaths. 107 is the 28th prime number, right? And we talked about how kill equals 28, like Mason and the same cipher. But with regards to 107, ritual sacrifice is also 107. Just like how she died 73 days after her birthday. So it's not like some just random 22-year-old walked up to her on the golf course and killed her for no reason. If he is really the killer, he's under mind control, no doubt about it. This is what people need to be aware of in this nation, what we're living in, what we're living out. And the point of being aware is to spread the knowledge so that enough of us can say, okay, it's time to shut down Freemasonry. It's time to end Zionism. It's time to stop sending money to Israel. It's time to rebuild our own communities. It's time to get rid of these corrupt police, because this is the system that allows all of this to happen continuously by these rituals. Understand, all of police is controlled by Masonry, and all of Masonry is controlled by Zionism. That's why at the beginning of this nation, you had an anti-Masonry party and people fighting against the central banks, because it was the same thing back then. And the people back then who fought against this, they said, look, this is the kind of stuff that's going to be our undoing. The central bank will turn us all into debt slaves. Masonry is a secret society that's up to no good. You know, go look up the anti-Masonry party and how it ended. It ended with their leader being found dead in a river after he disappeared on September 11th. You know, they've always liked that date. It's always been a big one for them. That date's written 11/9 in the majority of the world. You know, Star of David 119, Orthodox 119. Don't forget how they held up the Star of David on Monday Night Football when it was September 11th, early on the East Coast, the Monday before last. Yeah, if you missed that, go back and watch my video. Also, they put that up on the wrist of that woman when they held up the Star of David. Wrist 26. This NFL season began on the 26th of Elul, a date with 26 numerology. Like I said, the Eagles were going to win that game. It was all about 26. Said that before the game was played. All the touchdowns were scored by number 26. Understand, the whole world of pro sports and some of collegiate sports all scripted by this code too. Okay. So Iowa State students, you want to get a real education? Pick up my book. You'll learn way more than you'll learn in your 4-year program, your graduate program, your master's program, your doctorate program. Become a part of the movement to bring this tyranny to an end, Do it for the student who just got murdered at your school. This kind of stuff happens. There's going to be more students in the college, athletics that get murdered in the months, year ahead. Happens every single year. What just happened to your students, nothing new, I live up here in Washington. They did this to the Washington State quarterback last year after he had his big comeback victory against Boise State. And that game was scripted. College football, all of college men's football is scripted. Sorry. Hate to break the news to you. But it is. You guys are the Hawkeye State. Should teach you something about Hawkeye too. Hawkeye 33. Masonry 33. Secrecy 33. Order 33, Police 33, Police always covering up the lies. Hawkeyes has the Gematria of 97 and 38. Numbers connecting to the killer here. And 34, murders 34, 38, deaths 97. Hey, we just talked about 119. That's the all-seeing eye number. Doesn't that go well with Hawkeyes? So... hope I'm explaining this clearly enough. I'm just waking up here, so I'm a little foggy. Didn't get the best night's sleep, but this is what we woke up to. Another dead young person murdered by the code. And I need this book to reach every English-speaking person in this world. Because like I say in the book, this stuff's going to keep going on until these people are brought to an end. So you want to be part of justice, or you want to join the coincidence theory club? Because that's what a lot of people do who come here too. They call this all a coincidence, even though I report the same thing for 5 years straight, the exact same patterns, day after day. You don't want to be a coincidence theorist. Public education system, it turns a lot of people into morons, paying for their own demise. For the record, if you're wondering about my education, I do have a master's degree. I used to be a teacher, but I'm blacklisted from teaching, so... this is what I do now. All right, truth seeker. Until next time.